Today, My Startup TV is marking International MSME Day by hosting its first live program on LinkedIn. The 1 hour Power Pack session is produced in association with VAIM. The program is dedicated to the Indian MSMEs. We will feature eminent guests on panel talks and interviews. MSMEs are emerging as the center stone of the Indian economy. The live program will be followed by E-Awards honoring women entrepreneurs awarded by VAIM.
Good evening viewers, welcome to the broadcast on My Startup TV. Our today's program is in association with Women Energy Association of Incubators in Manufacturing, also known as VAIM. This Hyderabad-based organization is working towards ushering in a new era of women manufacturers in the country. My Startup TV has lined up a panel talk interviews on this International MSME Day 2021. Also, VAIM will be honoring women entrepreneurs for their contributions, especially during the last 18 months. Our other partners for this evening are Her Market, She Manufactures, Ask Mentor, Amel, and Plugin PR. So let's get into our first panel talk. It's about the Indian MSME, a sector that is the second largest employer after agriculture. It contributes over 45% towards total employment opportunities, also contributes 50% of total exports and 25% of country's GDP. So when it comes to corporate social responsibility, Indian companies have been playing actively contributing to it. So the question is, should the CSR be expanded to include MSME? Well, to discuss this, my guest this evening will be sharing the contribution made by their companies under CSR and also towards touching upon sustainable living. We also will be looking into challenges and scope under CSR. So let's meet our guest. The first is Rajesh Koshlaji, President and CEO of AGI Glasspack. Welcome, sir. Dayanand Reddy Garu, Managing Director and Founder of Vasanta Tools Crafts. Ravesh Bhimani, who's CFO Sri Gajanan Industries, also Executive Committee of Kakatiya Sandbox and founding member of TiE Nizamabad. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. So, let me start the session by an interesting quote that I read at Ravesh office, which said, and apparently it was by his grandfather, which read, "Wrong is wrong, and even if everybody is doing it, and right is right, even if nobody is doing it." So that kind of says a lot. When you talk about a company's culture, and to a large extent, I think Gajanan Industries have followed that in latent spirit by the second generation, like Raveshji. Raveshji, I would pick on that, the thoughts from your grandfather and say, your company has been, has lived up to this, and how have you connected that to the CSR activity and something that you do for sustainable living in your region?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Sunil and My Startup TV for giving me this opportunity to present how Gajanan is sustaining continuous growth and development. I'm also very happy to be part of this panel with Mr. Rajesh Khosla and Mr. Dayanand Reddy, who also hails from Nizamabad. The founding principle plays a significant part in the path a company chooses for its growth. For us, the founding principle, wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it. Right is right, even if no one is doing it. Given by our founder, Shri Kanjibai Tumani. For us, it was obvious to do right what is right, even if we are the only ones who are actually doing it, be it for customers, bankers, employees, or any key stakeholders for Gajanan. So in terms of banking, I am able to recollect the moment. We have been banking with Central Bank of India for past 50 plus years, starting with our limit of 25,000 in the year 1969. In the year 1983, when our limits were 25 lakhs, we realized that the bank does not have the correct set of collaterals against the loan which we have availed. So we got the documents as per the requirement, and bankers were actually surprised to see our action because they did not even approach us. And today, our exposure with Central Bank is beyond 50 crores. And with customer in the year 2008, when we had an advance amount close to 20% of our total turnover, from a single customer for an export order. Exports got banned, and 85% of our business, which was export, was gone overnight. It would have been very easy escape for us to enforce the force majeure clause, but we choose not to do that. We returned the entire advance within 3 months. Even with employees, they play a very crucial role in the company's growth. Today, we are actually proud to be SMETA SEDEX certified, ensuring we comply with each and every labor and environmental laws, which are at international standard. This founding principle actually helped us with no doubt, aligned our vision on whatever we do has to be sustainable. Today, we are one of the only 23 rice mills across India who are actually authorized to supply rice to China. So even in CSR activities, what we conduct, our thought was, how do we make it sustainable? So today, we are contributing towards agriculture, skilling youths, and also we are contributing towards a 105-year-old Gaushala, which was actually established by rice millers and the merchants of Nizamabad, consisting of more than 1,100 cows, including non-milking, aged and sick cows. And for any MSMEs, hiring good talent, especially in tier 2 and 3 cities, is a big challenge. So we are working closely with Kakatiya Sandbox and TiE Nizamabad to ensure proper exposure is given to the college-going students by providing them internships and entrepreneurial opportunities.
Rajeshji, I want to know about AGI Glasspack. Your organization is at the forefront of how you're using, because yours is one of the big industries which also creates a lot of carbon footprint. You're using a lot of initiatives to offset that. Do you want to talk about that?
Sustainability is a part of business. It's not an additional activity in a business. It has already come in our blood, in our culture, in everything. Partly because as a principle we are doing it, partly because our customers, they are practically, I'm not forcing, but they are expecting out of that. All our customers, they are very big MNCs, or I can say they are the super MNCs like that, present everywhere and very, very cautious on all those fronts. We are also being talked about how we can neutralize our carbon footprints. In an industry like us, where we are using a lot of fuel to melt the glass, becoming carbon neutral will be a little tough challenge, but we are moving towards that. Now, what we are doing is, number one is solar energy. If we see in our Bongir plant, already 8.5 megawatt of solar energy we are producing. And further, 8.5 megawatt of solar energy is under implementation. Even in Hyderabad, where because of the rules, state rules, we are not able to produce more than 1 megawatt. We have already installed 1 megawatt of solar energy. Now we are already trying to install further 2 megawatt of solar energy, which will go directly, not to the grid, but directly there. Zero discharge policy. We are not supposed to discharge any liquid outside. All the liquid, whatever is a discharge, they are to be recirculated, they are to be corrected and to be reused with that. Even, I'll tell you with a lot of pride, I'm telling you, we are the only glass plant in India in container glass, which is having ESP, electrostatic precipitators. We are not throwing any gaseous pollution in the environment. So, and even in the fuel, we take care. So on the sustainability part, so we do take care of all possible measurements so that at least we do not damage the society, the environment, and our nearby. So coexistence or principle on which we are working. So the whole society, the community, the environment, they have to coexist with us. So this is on principle we have been working, and we have been spending a lot of money on the sustainability part. So I'm just telling you a few of the things. Besides that, planting the trees, taking environment, noise pollution, safety, all other aspects which are important in the sustainability, we are taking care.
Really commendable. Zenan Garu,
Yes.
when the COVID hit and the second lockdown, you personally and your company, stepped forward and took up, your support, and you kind of went beyond your, call of duty at that point of time, and started supporting government hospital with medical equipments, and you're doing something in Nizamabad also. Do you want to talk about that?
Mr. Sunil, first of all, good evening to all the panel members and to you. And thank you for having me part of this panel. I'm also pleased to meet Mr. Rajesh ji and Ravish ji. So again, as he said, I'm from Nizamabad. So, and yeah, so as you know, CSR activities, as per the law, one is to kind of spend 2% of the profits. So once profit crosses 5 crores. So, but Vasanta Toolcrafts, I'll be calling it as Vasanta. So what Vasanta has been doing CSR activities even before we could cross those 5 crores. Maybe that was in a small way, but after we have crossed 5 crores of profit, which we are supposed to be do officially or legally. So we started acting in a big way, taking action on that. Initially, we chose schools in Nizamabad districts. To lots of schools, we have provided double desk benches, because when we realized some schools are not even having benches, and some schools were like slabs were leaking. So we got them repaired, we got them painted, and then we provided benches. And even 40 years back, if you talk 50 years back, when I was a student, my school used to have a very good lab, science lab. And I can't even see one trace of that lab today in my school. So we went back there, we repaired that entire school, we got them painted, we provided all the double desk benches, and then lab. So that way we did that for many schools in Armur Taluka or the Balkonda Mandal of Nizamabad district. And coming back to your point, so for past 2 years, because of this COVID, I would say 1.5 years, but 2 academic years, we could not do any of such activities. So be it lab equipment or benches, double desk benches, and all those activities. So then suddenly Anita ji from Chest Hospital called us, and then she came to know from somebody. So my CA, my chartered accountant. And then she was asking me whether Vasanta Tools can provide this equipment under CSR activities. I was more than happy because as you know, and after schooling activities, we wanted to focus on medical activities. So part of our CSR activities. And when that proposal came, I was more than happy to support her. And then immediately we said yes. And in fact, we are also part of, even Mr. Rajeshji may be part of CII. So on the initiation of CII, in Nizamabad also, we are going to participate in a big way in medical health activities. In fact, we are going to sponsor some of the equipment there, either in Armur Government Hospital or Nizamabad Government Hospital. So basically, on these 2 activities we want to focus. One is education for the children, especially in the government schools, etc., and then the health needs of the rural areas.
I would pick up, my next question to you, Dhananjay Garu, from the point when you said, you started this CSR activity even before you had, reached that 5 crore profit. So which was the kind of line which you cross, and then you can you take up the CSR activity. But you did it even before that. What did it mean to you? I mean, what was the thought that you wanted to do it much before?
Yeah, it is kind of again giving back to the society or contributing back to the society. So when some people used to approach with some of the need for the help, then we used to say yes, let's provide that. In some cases, even maybe it was on personal basis, but on some cases it was from the company account, and we did lots of such accounts, such works. But those were not purely academic type of things. So maybe general development of a village, etc. All that, again, which involved also a school development. But then later on, when we realized, first of all, I didn't realize that my school itself was in such pathetic condition. So when I saw that school, then I've decided that, okay, now this is the route we got. I mean, this is the clue we got. And now let's pursue that. So we started with my school in Balkonda. So Balkonda is our constituency headquarters for legislative assembly. It's Mandal headquarters, having maybe today, maybe about 20,000 population. So 50 years back, it had such a nice school. The walls used to be always with, shine with white paint or whatever. And such a good laboratory we had. In those days, we had a human skeleton. And when I went back about 10 years back to my school, there was nothing. No lab, nothing. No trace. So then we said, okay, now let's take up this. At least we got some clue or some cue. So then we started acting on that. In the region, we did this activity for many schools there.
Thank you for that. Rajesh ji, a very interesting point with Dhanangaru has made, which is, he didn't have to wait for, achieving that 5 crore profit level and then, start doing the CSR. How do you see this? Why can we expand the CSR thing to MSMEs also, where they can do it per their, whatever is, possible for them, instead of waiting for a 5 crore mark or a 500 crores turnover to be crossed? Yeah.
In a same fashion, Mr. Reddy has put that from a school point of view. See, let's talk from the school. Let's talk few years back. After independence. The population was not very convinced why they have to go to school. And after they get convinced, then they were not aware what exactly to study, which school to go. Once they go to the school, then next question comes, how to get examined and get a certification. And after the certification, how to get a job or something. So same thing, I put it here in the CSR, particularly to MSME. First, MSME people, most of the MSME people doesn't know what is CSR and what is sustainability, particularly from, I'm talking majority when they are micro level also. I'm not saying on a medium level, but micro. Something is to be informed, to be communicated, to be taught. What is sustainability? What is CSR? Why it is important and all. It's very important. In India, almost 3% of the MSME people, they go and become the large organizations. So they have their responsibilities and they have to develop the culture accordingly. So these people have to be taught. And the new startups which are coming, the way there is a market in India, they will be expanding and becoming a big anytime now. So what happens is they have to be taught, they have to be discussed, communicated, what is there. Next question comes, if they understand, then question is, what shall I do? What type of CSR I can do it? Where to approach? Because my value in MSME, the value may be small, but it's such a big segment. If all the things put together, it will be as good as the CSR of the large organization. So can there be a common pool? On a financial angle, can there be a mutual fund type of thing where the people come and put their money and something is taken care, which is visible? Otherwise, a small amount will be lost in the big ocean. Then the thing comes, once I invested my money, my time, my everything as a MSME, what type of certification I will be getting, at least which assures me that, yes, I am doing on a right path. And the most important, which most of the people are not doing, is how to integrate our efforts of sustainability and CSR into our business. Now the last point may be little, which may be little misunderstood or not understood properly. Like in our case, we are supplying to UB, we are supplying to USL, Pernod Ricard, Nestle, Unilever. These are all super multinationals. Their head office is sitting in Switzerland or Europe or America. They force us that what are your carbon footprints planning? What you are going to give us back? And what are the efforts? You have to give a timeline. So just see our efforts of CSR, our efforts in sustainability, it's linked to the business. If we are able to achieve, then only we will be getting a good share of their business. So MSME, which is almost as per you, they are 50% of the exports in India. So the sustainability and CSR are the important pillars, because these pillars, they will pull them or put them in a position where they can grab a bigger share of the market. In today's scenario, where the whole economics or the political orientations in the world is going to change. The China may not be the sole, supplier in the world, and the world is looking for an alternate, and India can be the big one. MSME is going to play a big role in that case. So it's not only the product which has to go, the commitment, the image, their sustainability, the way forward has to go along with the product, so that they should be assured that, so all these companies, they have a potential to grow in a big way, in a sustainable way. So my take on this is, I'm not saying government has to do it. I think people like you and new venture people like you, they can do it, so that we can bring these people in a pool where they can contribute small, and their share in our total CSR and sustainability can be big, large, because of the numbers are very large here. When 45% of the employment is there, so the number has to be large.
That's definitely a big number you're talking about, and that can kind of create, the net becomes quite bigger.
Yes.
I want to connect, how Sri Gajanan is connecting their CSR with sustainable living, through their SRI initiative. Raveshji, do you want to talk about that as to what is SRI and how you have been able to connect successfully the CSR with, with sustainable living?
So, in agriculture, being in a paddy processing unit, paddy consumes a lot of water. So we thought, how do we make this sustainable? How do we can save water? How do we save soil? So we, along with, in association with Kakaja Sandbox, initiated to promote system of rice intensification method of cultivation, where we can actually save water and soil. So we demonstrated this particular method of cultivation in the fields, our fields, arranged for the field visits, demonstrations for the farmers, actually to understand the benefits of SRI method. So by this, any new method is little painful. So SRI is little laborious method. You need about 30% more labor, but there are also benefits to it. Like the yields are higher, both in terms of grain and straw. The chemical what you actually use is far much lesser than what you use in a traditional farming, because the roots goes deep inside because of correct spacing. The water requirement is less, and the grain weight is actually more without even the change in the grain size. So automatically the farmer gets higher weight, and the quality of the produce is much superior than the traditional method. It can also withstand gales, floods. It has a lot of tolerance towards pest attacks, and also improves the health of the soil with the biological activities adopted in these methods.
Thank you for that, Raveshji. Thank you, gentlemen, and I look forward to hosting you on our other shows. Thank you.
We have over 400 startups and MSME shows on our TV channel. Do check out. My Startup TV is now available on Google Play Store, so you can get all the latest news on startups and MSMEs on the move. You can also support us by subscribing to our TV channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon. You can follow us on Koo, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or visit our website www.mystartuptv.in. Thanks for watching.